Today's beautiful flowers from the garden are the Giacomani clematis, the David Austin, Graham Thomas rose, the wild roses, rambling roses, and our beautiful pink evening primrose. Review of what we've got here. We've got the potager on this side, the flagstone path on this side, and the maiden's garden is along this edge right here. This is the one we put in early last year. And then here, in front of that, is a big trough full of sweet peas, which are coming along beautifully. This one, for some reason, was way ahead of everybody else, and we finally got a nice little bloomer. Get a shot of Mr. Poldark very often. This is Poldark, and isn't he a gorgeous boy? And he takes very good care of his hens. It really pays for you to have a lot of perennials in your garden. You could fill it all in with the annuals as well. Like this will have this will soon have poppies and bachelor buttons, and then cosmos will be filling in this garden. But everything that you see now, if it's larger, these are all perennials. These are the staples of the garden. And one of them that I particularly love are these beautiful Sweet Williams, also known as dianthus. They have the most wonderful carnation scent to them, almost as nice as a rose. But they don't really fill the air. You have to get right up next to it to sniff it. And I didn't know these penstemons would get this tall, but they really are tall. And pretty soon they'll be opening, which will be jolly good. Here we have oxeye daisies. That's a staple around here because they're pretty much a wildflower. And this is a pussy willow tree. But what I put under the pussy willow tree, because once those pussy willows are gone, you don't get a whole lot of beauty from this tree. So I planted a Zephyrian Druid climbing rose, which should climb to about 12 feet. It's still a baby, but you can see it blooming down there. The idea is for that Zephyrian Druid rose to climb this pussy willow tree. And so here's the gate to the potager, right across from the maiden's garden. And as you can see, the pink primroses, the pink primroses are starting to open. And when I say starting to open, that's what I mean. There will be triple pink primroses in this garden. This is just the beginning. This is why I just let them grow. I think they are just simply beautiful. Now they do make the garden look like some wild jungle, and it does. It looks like a wild jungle because I let them grow in the pathways because that's where they want to grow. But after they bloom, I will cut them all the way down to the ground, and then once again I'll be able to walk these pathways without crushing plants. But in the meantime, I think they make a beautiful show. Familiar with evening primrose, pink. This is what they look like up close. They're just very delicate, very much like a single poppy, a single petaled poppy. And they're so profuse. Look at the beautiful buds here. So you can see there's only one here, but there will be at least 6 or 7 or 8 more blooms on that one stem. These are the peas we planted in the pots not too long ago. Looking pretty good, pretty strong. Steady stems, very, very good, very nice. And here we have another one growing up the teepee and up to the peach tree. Busy here early in the morning. Everybody is pretty active and happy. It's just amazing how the garden fills in so quickly in just a few weeks if you get a really good rainstorm. Now, if you look at the primroses down this path, my goodness, this is a path, but you would never know it, that there are bricks underneath there. And the snap peas are looking really good. The roses. Here we have the beautiful American Beauty rose. This is a great climber. This one has a tendency, though, to get a little bit of black spot, so I had to spray it yesterday. But not much of a scent to this rose, but I planted this so many, many years ago, and it's just been a fabulous, fabulous blooming plant. And underneath that, we've got some green peppers and a couple David Austin roses that I put in September. What I really wanted to get a shot of is this gorgeous clematis. I'm going to tell you that if you these are the most blooms I've ever had on this one, and it has got them all over. Just buds, just bursting, ready to pop open. And I think it's because I really gave it some fertilizer a couple weeks ago, because I've never had this many blooms. The fertilizer and rose food and liquid fish fertilizer is what I use. Really, really, really helps your plants. I really believe that. You could smell this wild rose here. I planted this from a little bitty, I don't know, it was no more than 6 inches tall that I just dug out of the woods about 10 years ago. But it is just, and then I forgot all about it. I just forgot I even had it until it started to grow like this. And when it started to grow like this, I just let it do its thing. The wonderful thing about these wild roses, these are rambling roses, is the scent they put out. The scent is out of this world, and you can smell it all throughout the yard. And they also produce rose hips, which I love rose hips. I look for roses that produce rose hips, and usually they are the ramblers, the single petal variety of roses that most people don't want, because we all want those lush, thick roses. But if you want rose hips, generally you're going to be looking at single petal roses. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell this. This is so nice. But look at the Beatrix Potter patch so far, and come and see the crazy foxglove that we talked about in the last video. Here it is. The one, as I learned, it's got a fasciated, which is kind of a freak happening. Very typical with foxgloves, apparently, where the stem gets really, really flat and thick, as this one has done. But the amazing thing about it is producing 3 times the blooms as the other plants. Look at all the blooms coming out on this one as compared to the one behind it. So it turned out to be a pretty good thing to have that sort of a freaky guy in the garden. Most everything hasn't opened. That's great. I love the way things just open one by one instead of all at once. There are chapters in your garden, and I guess you could say we're in chapter 1. No, chapter 2, because all the bulbs have already bloomed. What's in there, buddy? What are you doing? There must be water in there. So thank you again for coming along on this morning short garden walk that we have once a week. Just short videos. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? I hope you're having a beautiful day where you are, and I hope your garden is growing lushly as mine is today. And I want to thank those of you who purchased birds this weekend from the Hopalong Hollow Emporium. Our next video emporium will be in about 3 weeks, when we'll have another fun little creature for sale. Guess I added that this plum tree better get into the ground. It has not gone in yet. And in our longer video, gardening video, we're going to feature this garden, which I am doing a renovation on right now. I have a long way to go. It's really gotten overgrown. So that'll be probably next week. In the meantime, from Hopalong Hollow, this is Jerry. Thanks for coming.